Good morning. I'm Diane Giddens. I have the pleasure of serving as the Chief of Staff for the Williamson County Mayor's Office. My CTM project is entitled Building on Communication. This way or that way? This way? Okay. So the problem statement that I identified that I wanted to work on in our government is called the fourth floor. Our fourth floor is the physical location in the administrative complex for the various offices that you will work with when anytime you are constructing a home, renovating a home, or adding on to a home. That includes our planning, engineering, codes compliance, and sewage disposal offices. Unfortunately, the fourth floor has a negative connotation to most people in the development community in our county. Oftentimes we hear negative remarks regarding the staff there because they failed to give communication on what was needed for their building project. They failed to give proper notice, which, you know, we are governed by a number of state laws that require us to do that, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the public is engaged and is seeing it, or that they have made changes or additions to the procedures from the first time that you met with our staff. So my desired outcome was to increase communication capabilities, lessen the number of complaints, and no longer rely on the old means of communicating through a telephone call or through an email. So we know that that is becoming more and more outdated technology. You can't send a text with a tin can phone call. So we wanted to get into at least the 20th century and see how we might be able to provide a more effective, more efficient means of communicating to our public. Working in the public sector sometimes can be like the old campfire story that you used to play, where you would sit around the campfire and one person would begin telling a story in someone's ear and they would whisper it to another one and so on and so forth until it comes back full circle to you and you find out that's not exactly what I thought I said. So working in the public sector, a lot of times people will tell their friends that in my house resident building process, we had to do this, this, and this, and you just well get prepared for it's going to be a delay because of this, that, or the other. Well, one size doesn't fit all when you come to getting a building permit in the county, because all of the soils throughout Williamson County, we have a lot of limestone. So where your house is going to be built does not necessarily mean that the soils are the same in the next area of the county. Emphasizing the need for improving our communication is the fact that we have just experienced a 20-year record high in the issuance of building permits. Will, can you move? Yes, thank you. In 1 year, from 2018 to 2019, you'll notice that we've had a 35% increase in the number of building permits issued in the unincorporated areas of the county. So this is not inside any of the 6 municipalities in Williamson County. This is only in the rural unincorporated areas. So we know that we are about to experience another building boom like we haven't seen since you would have to go back to the 90s, mid-90s, when GM first decided to relocate a vehicle manufacturing plant to Murray County, just to the south of us. The plant itself is located in Spring Hill on the Murray County side. Some of you, I just recently learned in our class that there are several cities in the state that have a city that is incorporated within 2 different county governments. And so Spring Hill is one of those in Williamson County, where it's on the Murray County side is the physical location of the vehicle plant. But the folks that were moving here to work at the plant wanted to live on the Williamson County side of Spring Hill to take advantage of our excellent school system. So at that time, we experienced a building boom, and we're about to undergo another one. So at the time when the first one came in the mid-90s, we found a need to reorganize the fourth floor and put all of the various departments that you work with for building a home under one director, so that there would be one united point of contact when you were experiencing those problems. So you would see that at the time, the sewage disposal office was not a part of that office. It came on later. As the building boom started and folks we had this big growing house construction in the southern end of the county, there were a number of folks to the west, north, and east who said, hey, I want to take advantage of this building boom. I'm going to add 2 more bedrooms to our house, and our values are going to increase quite a bit to be in comparison with those in the Spring Hill to the southern side of the county. Well, unfortunately for some of those folks, their homes were built in the 70s, and they soon found out that their homes were constructed on soils that were not conducive to adding more bedrooms, and some of them soon found out that their homes were quite frankly on the verge of being condemned and declared a public health issue, because they were experiencing failures. They did have these types of things happening, and unfortunately the regulations for wastewater systems at that time were all across the state underneath the Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation, TDEC. And because those folks were all in Nashville and were not necessarily out amongst all of the 95 different counties, they might not have been as familiar with our soil conditions as to what they might be here in Davidson County or to the east or to the west of us. So the administration at the time said, you know, I would really rather that we be in control of our own building regs and our own wastewater treatments regulations. So he began to work with TDEC and our local attorneys and state attorneys, and we ended up bringing the wastewater regulations in-house in Williamson County, the first county to do that across the state. And today, even only a handful of counties contract with the state to have their own regulations. The stipulation that the state put up on us was that we had to have regulations that were equal to or more stringent than what the state had in place. Well, we're going to do things bigger and better as Williamson County goes, and we now have a reputation for having the most stringent, because we realized, or our professional staff in the sewage disposal office realized, that those homes from the 70s that were permitted that probably should have never been permitted on the soils they were on, they had no backup area to go when this system was failing. So today's regs require that you not only have sufficient soils for your existing home and your existing septic system, but that you have a backup area. So when someone has 5 acres in Williamson County, if they're on a sewer or septic system, you're going to have that same amount of area that is in place now. They're going to have another one as a backup system, because septic systems, we all know, are typically only good for about a 30-year period if you take excellent care of them. So our regulations now require that you have that backup system. Well, this went along for a while, and things were going good until we started getting more complaints that the 4th floor is holding up my building project. There's people up there. If you get on the wrong side of them, boy, they're going to slow walk your project, and it's going to sit on a desk, and they're going to sit on a desk, and you're just at their mercy. So fast forward to the early 70s, when a new administration came into effect, and that's my current county mayor, Rogers Anderson, and he enacted an open door policy. He said, if somebody wants to see me and talk with me, I want to see them and talk with them. And that was great. Everybody says, okay, well, come right in. The mayor will see you now. The doctor is in. So come in and, you know, pour out your heart with what's wrong. So it didn't take long for Mayor Anderson to realize that the residential community had, or excuse me, the development community had heard that, oh yeah, if you got a problem, you just go talk to Rogers. He'll march right up to the 4th floor. He'll take care of it for you. So what he eventually decided was, instead of you all coming in and making an appointment to see me, if I know that it's regarding your septic system, I'm going to bring the staff downstairs. We're all going to be at the table at the same time. We're going to be elbow to elbow. You tell your side of the story, and they're going to tell their Paul Harvey page 2 side of the story. So obviously there was more blame than enough to go around. So we did find out that a lot of times the fault didn't necessarily lie with the county staff, but it would be with the individual, the professional staff that you as the homeowner had hired, whether it be a surveyor, a soil scientist, an engineer, and who got behind in their work. And when I, as the property owner, would call and say, what's the holdup? Why aren't we doing anything on my home? They'd say, oh, you know, the county, they're holding us up. They're holding us up. So on the heels, as I mentioned earlier, we are about to go through another residential building boom. So working on the CPM project, I thought, well, how can we help the 4th floor lose their negative reputation that they have? So I got with the community development director, and he's well aware of the reputation that he and his staff have. And we decided to work with our in-house cable television channel staff, and we put together a series of videos where the community development director sat down with each of his division heads, and they did a 30-minute video that kind of talks you through when you get ready to build in Williamson County. Our office is here to help you with this. Our office will help you through that. So we went through building codes, engineering codes, compliance, and sewage disposal. We followed up on the heels of that then and interviewed the president of the Association of Realtors in Williamson County and got their perspective on the importance of following county rules and regulations that are in place, because they had oftentimes experienced going to a closing only to find out that the house that I advertised with my realtor and showed them around my nice new home that had 5 bedrooms through the county was only permitted for a 3-bedroom house. You say, well, why does that matter? Well, it matters because when the home was originally constructed and permitted for 3 bedrooms, that is the recommendation of the septic system that was installed for that home. You add 2 more bedrooms, that typically means you've got at least 2 more people taking showers, doing laundry, washing dishes. More effluent, more wastewater means that that system is now pumping for a 5-bedroom and overexerting itself when it was only built and installed for a 3-bedroom. So then you start to have the failing systems. You can't close on a home that's advertised for a 5-bedroom if it's only permitted for a 3-bedroom. So we appreciated the Association of Realtors giving us their input on the importance of that as well. Additionally, the Community Development Office has purchased a software and it's called Integrated Design Systems, whereby you are now required to submit your plans electronically. You can go on there and schedule your own inspections, because working with your individual contractors, you hopefully know that, hey, about 3 days from now, I'm going to be ready for a footing inspection or a water or a plumbing inspection or an electrical inspection. So you can have the luxury of doing that yourself. You can also go online and track your project's progress by looking to see, oh, I see where the county released that to my surveyor, And he was supposed to go back and do this, that, or the other. But if you called your surveyor, guess what? That old fourth floor is holding us up again. But if you now have the opportunity to go online and see exactly when it was returned, who it was returned to, and what the next steps were going to be. So at the end of the day, the process was to have better communication and lessen the amount of meetings required to meet with the staff and the mayor. By assuming an average of 1.5, well, this has 2 meetings a month, I think that really is supposed to be 1.5, though we kind of averaged it out over the full year. We determined that it would save about 180 hours of work time in a calendar year, and combining the 4 staff members and the mayor would result in about $46,800 in salary savings by not having to have those ongoing meetings just to find out, okay, who's responsible for the holdups. At the end of the day, we want to be able to say that when that story comes full circle back around that campfire, that what our staff is communicating is exactly what you heard. We've already seen benefits from the staff by learning that they may live, work, and breathe the building world every day. You as the consumer are not familiar with what the steps are. So helping them to understand that they've got to communicate more clearly and more precisely on the front end will hopefully save time and cost savings for you as the consumer on the back end. And I've often heard that the only thing worse or the only person that can stand between you and lunch is the person cooking. So since I'm not cooking, I'll open it up for questions.
Good job.
Cameron.
Nice job, Diane.
Thank you, sir.
I think that this is applicable to multiple jurisdictions. Couple questions. I'll start with the easy one. Who's Paul Harvey?
Yeah. Okay, you're so dumb.
Are the videos that you guys did, are you hosting those on the city website up front, or are they on the community development page, or are they just hanging out on YouTube for people to go and find?
I apologize for not stating that earlier. Yes, they are, with the tutorial for the IDT's electronic submissions is still in the works. That particular video is. So when we complete that one, we're going to sit down with our IT staff, make sure that on the front page of the county's website, we'll have a link to the community development website stating that there are informational videos available, as well as then having them on each one of the different department website pages. And then we're going to follow up with a press release to let everybody know that they are out there. And tracking that will kind of be a little bit difficult, except working through our IT systems to see how many times it was clicked on. But they are also available through YouTube, so that will give us a good tracking record as well.
Okay, you anticipated my next question. The other thing, when do you think you may put those up, just so that we can kind of follow your progress?
First of next month is our anticipated goal.
And
depends on when I get back from Mexico.
Last question.
Yes, sir.
When did your electronic system go live that you showed that slide?
That went live actually last fall, late November perhaps.
Okay, so November 2019?
Yes, sir.
So they should have a quarter's worth of data here in the next month or so?
Hopefully, yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else?
Just a quick question. The
Yes.
slide with the permits, were those residential permits?
Those are all residential
Wow.
permits, yes. I can't back it up because we changed screens. Those are all, that is all residential permits in the unincorporated areas.
Did you say, you said before that the first boom was Spring Hill, is this boom focused in that same area or?
No, actually, those are countywide. Right now, we're experiencing a lot of homes in the Nolensville area, outside the Nolensville town limits. But basically, a lot of farms have sold and subdivided, and so there are a lot of just rural residential permits being released because we've got a large influx of population. We're currently, so in 90, when the last census, when the first building boom started, we were at 81,000 people, and we're currently estimated at 238,000. So when our 2020 census comes, the results of those are in, then we'll have a better idea about where all of that lies, but it's spread throughout the county. It's amazing. It's crazy, actually. Did you have a question? No? Stretching your legs. Knoxville?